Welcome to Prepper Nation. I'm John. Thank you very much for being here. So, does any American out there actually own anything? We're going to have a deep topic, a deep subject this morning. So, please put your thinking caps on. If I had a hat nearby, I would do it just to be funny, but I don't. So, put your thinking caps on. Please try and pay attention because it's a really good message this morning, I think. If you think so at the end of this video, let me know. And if not, if you think it sucks, let me know. Say this message sucks, son. So, does any American actually own anything? I kind of third wheeled my way into a conversation earlier this week. I was in a vehicle, two friends, they were having the conversation, and I was there. Should I jump in on this one or not? So, to give you the lowdown and the skinny, some real nice condos are being built. They're in the early stages of being built here in downtown Mount Airy, where the rich folks live, I might add, and right there next to Mayberry. So I've got a friend that's interested in a condo. Friend number two says, "Well, that's stupid because with condos, you don't these particular types, you don't actually own them. You know what I mean? I guess they work different ways, but these particular ones, ownership transfers back to the condo owner when something happens to you or whatever." So they're going back and forth about ownership, and I'm like, "Look, I had to jump in at some point, right?" I said, "You're sharecroppers. I'm a sharecropper. We don't own our homes here in the United States of America. We don't own our land. I know depressing message, but I promise it gets better. We don't own cars. Um, we're sharecroppers. And so the definition of a sharecropper is you're allowed to use the land, and in return, you produce and you give to the landowners. So in our case, the landowners are going to be the federal government and banks, right? When you get right down to it, the bigger banks. If I don't pay a mortgage on a house, the bank takes the house because I'm not producing. And even after I've paid the bank off, right, the middleman in this case, I still owe taxes every year. Yes, you crazy folks that say don't pay taxes. This one is for you. You pay taxes every year. Otherwise, the government comes in, they seize your land, and they give it to another sharecropper who is going to pay taxes every single year. This is the way it works. My perspective, let me know if I'm right or wrong on that, please. So I'm going to go a step further. I mentioned this at the tail end of the last video. I've been thinking about it since I filmed that video. Yeah, I do wear the same hoodie very often. Shout out to my wife. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, son. Go Greyhounds. Anyway, I digress. Something else that a lot of Americans don't own, and that is their own situation. I'd mentioned accountability on the last video. People are not holding themselves accountable here in the United States. I'm gonna get up into some feelings if that's okay. I'm going in, son. Because you cannot change your particular situation, right? Until you own said situation. You have to be willing to own your mistakes. We all make mistakes. Everybody's human. Um, you have to own up to them. When you screw up, you have to own it. We have a really bad habit in this country of blaming everybody else, projecting it on everybody else. We got into a deep discussion a couple of days ago. Thank y'all for those comments where, I was saying that basically, long story short, we have allowed this to happen. Our government is a train wreck because we've allowed it to happen, because it's a lot easier just to blame the government. That blanket statement, the government sucks. Yeah, the government does suck, but we've allowed that to happen, right? And I've been wrong. Um, I've said multiple times here on this channel, look here at this Kobe shot, son. Boom. I've said on this channel multiple times that Americans have no representation. I've been thinking about this, and I think we do. I've been wrong about that. I think we do. Congress does represent the American people because when you look at, I know that's a hot take, right? But when you look at it from a distance, they do exactly what we do. The left wing and the right wing constantly bigger. They constantly argue. They accomplish nothing in the federal government whatsoever, and they're spending somebody else's money. It seems like literally all the time. And you look at the United States population, go to Twitter, go to X. It's X now, folks. Remember that. Go to X one day. That is a political, I don't cesspool over there. It is like a digital version of DC at this point. This, Republicans or conservatives are screaming again on X at Democrats. Democrats are screaming back. There's no civil discourse. Nobody's agreeing. And at the end of the day, it accomplishes absolutely nothing. So our Congress is acting the way we act. Now, not every single one of us. Some of us got our heads screwed on straight, but most Americans, okay? It's always been somebody else's fault. You ask somebody right now, you don't have to turn like literally right around, especially if you're just talking to pets. I do that sometimes, son. But listen, if you were to ask someone right now about the problems they have in their life, there's a 90% chance that they're not going to own it themselves. And that is a huge problem here in the United States of America. It's always somebody else's responsibility. You understand that they're linked together. It's somebody else's fault. It's the government's fault. Therefore, it's somebody else's responsibility to do something about it. It's the government's fault, so the government needs to do something about it. And then again, we're left with the crowd of somebody needs to do something about it, as we were talking about the other morning. I won't go back down that rabbit hole, but the video's a couple of days old if you're interested. Give you a few glaring examples. Why didn't someone warn me about the whiskey shot, about the effects of the whiskey shot? This was a real thing for a while. I don't know if it's still a real thing or not, but the whiskey shot was jacking people up. They went, they got boosted, they got reboosted, 3 boosted, whatever, quattro boosted. I don't know. Got all these boosters, and all of a sudden now they're all discombobulated. They're jacked up, physically speaking. And rather than own it, rather than admit they jumped on something experimental, it's somebody else's fault. Why didn't people tell me about this? Right? They're never going to own their mistakes. I can't afford to prepare. This crowd also exists. Well, I would prep, but I can't afford it. Take some accountability. That's a cop out, okay? Sell some of the crap that you don't need. I've done it. I ain't ashamed to say it. I've went through all because I'm into retro games, but man, I've slimmed back and I've sold a lot of the heavy hitters off to buy prepping things and other stuff. I bought a lot of silver with it as well, just because silver is holding value, whereas 1985 Nintendo carts are hit or miss, right? So silver is more appealing to me right now, but you can afford to prepare. You can get a part-time job on top of what you're working to get your preps. Again, you can have a yard sale, you can go to a flea market, you can get on Facebook Marketplace and get rid of some of the crap. Everybody has crap that they don't need. And if you think I'm wrong, ask my wife. She will let you know quick, son. Um, this one is especially personal to me because we have a really good friend of the family, been a friend of the family for decades. And this is pretty much their one liner. Bad luck follows me around. And then they'll go on to say, why does this always happen to me? Bad luck follows me around for decades again. At some point, it's not bad luck. At some point, it's a pattern of bad decisions being made. Why does this always happen to me? Why do the guys always cheat on me that I find? Well, because you're going to the wrong places to find them or you're chasing them for the wrong reasons. There's a pattern of behavior here. And ma'am, if you're catching this, I'm not taking a personal shot at you, but as we've discussed before, you have to change the way that you're wired in order to meet somebody different. So blaming others and avoiding responsibility, again, getting into ownership. Americans just won't own their own situation in this country. Um, Couple of other good examples here in the prepping community, right? I'm being censored by Google. Google's censoring me. Okay. So life goes on, right? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Or again, I blame the government. Why would you blame the government? They're an extension of the people, and we allow it. Let me give you some solid advice this morning. Okay, this is some 24 karat gold chef's kiss advice. Please, if you don't take anything else from this video, take two things. Number one, again, go Greyhounds. Number two, please take this advice. All right. I heard this expression once when I was younger, and it was really at a point in time when I needed to hear it. Like timing was perfect because my life was a mess. Okay. If you around a barber shop long enough, you're going to end up with a haircut. And I was like, man, this is weird advice. What does this have to do with the price of eggs in China here? What is going on? But as I thought about it, I began to understand what this actually means. If you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So, in other words, you're going to pick up good habits. If you hang around an environment where there are good habits, you hang around with the right crowd, you're going to begin to act like said crowd. You're going to pick up good habits. But this also works, you know, the other way. If you hang around with the wrong crowd, you're going to begin to make bad decisions because you're picking up bad habits. I mean, just recently, last year and a half, I really woke up to a lot of this stuff on YouTube. Again, with the censorship, Google's censoring me. It's kind of like if you're going to go to prom, expect to dance. That's how I approach it now. I don't even worry about the censorship here anymore. If they flag a video, I make another one tomorrow. Whatever. I understand as a conservative on a liberal platform, I'm going to have to do some dancing. So I might as well put that tuxedo on, get my shoes shined up, and do what I got to do. It does not stress me. It does not even concern me anymore as a content creator here on YouTube. The drama that is always in the prepping community, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's all over the place. It's like herpes up in here, son. It spreads throughout the community. There's always some kind of drama going on. This creator's going after this creator. Listen, I don't go after creators personally. I don't even care that much anymore. When I see drama, I go the other way. If people try and bring drama to this channel, they get kicked to Nancy Pelosi's liquor closet, which is the darkest place. Y'all want to talk about a black hole in space? Go to that lady's liquor closet, right? I excommunicate these people again because I don't want to hang around the wrong influences, okay? I've been getting this question lately, past couple of months or so. John, oh my God, you've lost weight. Are you okay? Since you've made it this far in the video, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. And I'll explain in a second. But my trigger response from here on out is going to be no. And I'm just going to leave a PayPal link. I'm straight up. When people ask me this from now on, I'm just going to say no. I'm going to give the vague statement no. Please donate. But yeah, I feel like I'm in my 20s right now, folks. And to explain very quickly, again, accountability. I woke up one morning, I looked in the mirror, I got out of the shower, right? Because I do shower. Beaverines need to shower, son. I got out of the shower and I looked in the mirror and I didn't like the person I saw, physically speaking, right? I'm getting up there in age, I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, man, I've got I don't drink beer, but I've got a beer gut. You know what I'm saying? I've got this stuff hanging down here. I know I'm overweight. I know my diet was bad. I'm smoking too much. So I made a conscious decision to clean my diet up. For those that don't know, I've mentioned this before, but I went with a gluten-free diet and I cut other things out too, like soft drinks. Occasionally, once a week, I'll have a root beer, but beyond that, I'm having unsweet tea and stuff like this. Coffee, obviously. I just cut out the gluten and I feel so much better, not only physically, but about myself. I'm proud of myself when I look in the mirror now. You know what I mean? So it's about attitude for me. Attitude is everything. Content creators, attitude is everything. Even if you're not a content creator, attitude is everything because it's a product of two things. Attitude, in my opinion, of course, attitude is a product of your surroundings and it's a product of your belief. What do you see when you look in the mirror? And who are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of news are you surrounding yourself with every single day? What kind of messages are you absorbing every single day? Again, I'm not taking shots at anybody personally, but some channels, multiple channels, they seem to always be panicked and they seem to always be negative and they are very, very depressing. And I would have to, I don't watch these channels every day, but I would have to think for the people that do, it's going to affect them mentally somehow. And I think it's very important. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You're adults here. Watch whoever you want to watch, but whatever you are consuming, whether it's Fox, CNN, YouTube, hey man, you might be on Nickelodeon, son. I don't know. Whatever you're consuming, how does it make you feel? What kind of joy is it bringing to you in your walk in life? Ask yourself that question. Take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes away from the panic and the hoarder stacking and all this other stuff that goes on and all the drama in the community. Take 5 minutes. Sit down by yourself and ask yourself that question. All of the stuff that is surrounding me, how is it affecting me? Is it making me happier? Is it making me more prepared? Is it panicking me? Is it making me scared? Is it depressing me? So on and so forth. And you folks, a couple of you have already mentioned it, but you're going to see a new look, kind of a new look and a kind of a new vibe, a rebirth, if you will. Here at Prepper Nation, we're just going to be hitting it a little bit different, son. There you go, Forrest. That one's for you. And we're going to be expanding out beyond YouTube, which I will get into that in a couple of weeks. But thinking about it, what are the most important aspects of prepping? Obviously, we just went over the mental side of things. We need to touch on it some more. What are the most important aspects when it comes to prepping for whatever? The next storm, doomsday? That is a topic that we need to discuss, I think, sometime.